Hello! So this evening we are going to be looking at the first two airports in the Triple Pack from Orbx. So this is going to be interesting. Excuse me. I'm just going to go and fly down into the airfield here. We are at Scandinavian Mountain Airport to begin with. You can see the weather is lovely. We're going to go and fly around with the drone camera and go and take a look around. So you can see it's really nice actually. They've accentuated the snow in various places around the airfield. So it does have snowdrifts, especially around some of the taxiways. So if we pretend we're coming into the airport, we would go and do our automated check-in, as seems to happen these days everywhere. I don't know if you've got high enough resolution, or you can just about read some of this. So you can go and get your baggage labels, put your baggage through, and then carry on through the airport. So this is from Orbx. So we carry on through security, and then we're into the main part of the building. So we can see there's a cafe over here. It's a self-service place to go and buy some sweets. The resolution isn't great, but it doesn't really need to be internally, does it? There's a few glitches they need to iron out. This scenery's only just come out. You can see it's snowing indoors, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm sure they'll fix these little things over time. So you can see one of the terminals is there. So the doors along this building you can see lead out onto the flight line. So we'll just have a quick look around the building. We've got this nice kind of restaurant area with wooden chairs and a bar here and tables. It's very cool. Okay, so if we fly up through the terminal to the far end, I don't think there's much behind us here now. Let's come out through the main doors here and have a look at the air side of the airport. So as you can see, it's really nicely modelled actually. So this is the Scandinavian Mountain Airport, and you can see here some of the snowdrifts that have been modelled up against the building. It's very well done. So our aeroplane is waiting in the cold over there. The BAE 146 is ours. So we'll wander over to it in a minute. You can see there's various well, not really jetways, are they? They're just stairs. Very fancy stairs. So we'll wander over to our aeroplane and then we'll go and get it started up. So as you can see, our aeroplane is looking a bit of a frozen mess at the moment, so hopefully we'll be able to thaw it out. It's been sat here for about half an hour in the minus whatever it is degrees. It's turned into a bit of a snowball. So fingers crossed we'll be able to warm that up and get it up and running. We'll have to be mindful of warming things as we go around the aeroplane. So, without further ado, let's put the drone camera to one side, knock everything over on my desk, and start working through the startup procedure. Oh my word, it really is frozen, isn't it? This is going to be good fun. So how do we get the VAE 146 up and running? First things first, let's go and turn the batteries on. I'm just going to go and change the sound output for the simulator to go out of the headphones so I can hear it. Just want to check the volume levels while I'm doing that. Sounds okay. Okay, so control 7 and control 8, and we want to go nav light to high int. No smoking to auto. I'm actually working through a checklist here because I don't trust myself. Cabin emergency to armed, and I'm trying to remember where that is. There we go. And on the far left, your damper master 1 and 2 to on. The AP master to on, and the avionics A and B to on. The anti-skid to on. The lift spoilers yellow and green to on. Then overhead with control 7, we go to the electric section in the second column, that's here. And we've turned the bus tie AC and DC to auto, so they're down here. And then standby inverters and standby generators to armed. Interesting that that's still saying off bus, but we'll ignore that for the moment. APU generator to on. That's down here. That's 2 clicks on that one. Okay, so then fuel on the first column, pumps left inner to on. Then on the APU section, which is over here, we turn the master switch to start, and we wait for the APU power available light to come on, so you can see the APU is coming up. If we go and have a listen outside, you can see heat coming out of the APU exhaust. So yeah, I'll look in on the live stream comments in a few minutes. As you can see, I'm a little bit busy at the moment to be reading that. We have power. So flight deck emergency lights to armed. So that's in the lower panel down here. There we go. And then aft center console, control 4, yaw damper to on. We just click the button down there. I'm just going to our next page. Left and right side panels, so we're going to the oxygen, so we come each side and turn the valve to allow oxygen in. Should we get rid of the co-pilot? We don't want really anybody sat there, do we? I guess we could change his uniform. If we press escape, go to general options and go to MISC, and let's change the pilots a little bit, shall we? So that will do. Apply, go back, resume. So I'm just going to go and set the co-pilot's oxygen to on. So then control 7, and we set the center tank transfer to auto, wherever it is. Here it is. Ice protection to on, and recover it. And then back down to the main panel, control 3, click the flip chart. So it should give us the numbers for the indicated airspeed. And flight directors to on, so to do that it's easier to come up here, use F and turn on the flight director bars. You can see them lining up on the attitude indicators. Nav 1 has to go on, so actually that's not on, that's on. That's the DME. And on the nav 2, yeah, we just need to, I think we just click that to turn on nav 2, but we can also go and turn the DME on as well while we're here. Com radios to on, so control 5 takes us to the com radios, go and turn them on. And we can set up the FMC and the nav radios and so on and so forth. So let's just scoot over here a little bit. So pos init, Flight plan, this is very much a simplified FMS in the BA146, so we'll put the basics of the route in. ESKS to SNU. ESKS is the origin, and SNU is the destination. So just for pronunciation purposes, so we're flying from Scandinavian Mountains to Umeå. It's not Umeå, it's Umeå. I know because I looked it up. I'm always a bit circumspect about pronouncing place names in places I don't know. Okay, so we can set the departure and the arrival. So we're going to take off on, let's have a look at our map. Bateau 1K, runway 15 we're departing on. So runway 15, Bateau 1K. Execute. Come back to departure arrivals, go into arrivals. We're going to arrive into Umeå. The TIND 3S star, and then ILS into runway 14. Okay, execute that. Go and look at the legs page. Obviously after Batov we've got discontinuity. We're going to put a few waypoints in along the way, so FRL. I'm not sure if this will allow DMEs as waypoints. We'll see. It's thinking. It's done it. I'm amazed actually. Next page. Interesting. So that got rid of the discontinuity entirely, but we don't want to go straight to Tindo. We want to go to Sun and then OSK. So SUN. Put that on top of Tindu and it should push it down. I can't believe this won't have duplicates. Yeah, there we go. So let's just check the details on this one. Show information on Sun and pull up the 6231. Okay. 6231 north, 1726 east. Oh, there's 2 pages of them. Okay, perhaps we don't have it. Yeah, perhaps we don't have that doesn't make much sense. You'd imagine that should have been in there. Sundsvall. What's the frequency? 113.1. Interesting. Okay, we'll have to go without that one then. So we'll remove that from our flight plan. And delete. And we'll go for OSK instead. So we will go back to our legs page. Cancel that mod. We got Batov, Tinder. Okay, so that's got rid of all of the mods. Okay. So, should we just go direct? It'll make it a lot easier, wouldn't it? Because not being able to trust the FMS in this aircraft is making it kind of problematic. So we're going straight from Batov to Tindo. Yeah. Okay. A simple flight plan, but sometimes simple is best. Okay, so let's have a look overhead while we're doing things and see if we can put the... Oh, we'll warm up in a moment. So, Control 7, fasten seatbelts to on. So, just trying to remember where all the various switches are in this aeroplane. There's the fasten seatbelt sign. And overhead, we want to put the beacon light to on. And at this point we would do pushback. We're running on the APU at the moment. I just want to see if we can warm things up a bit. Flight deck fan, cabin fan, temperature control, warm. But it's on automatic actually, so it should be okay. So let's just see if that affects much at all. And lower down, let's go and turn on the anti-ice. Obviously you probably need the engines running so to get that to do much at all, so let's turn that back off for the moment. Actually this will be fascinating to see what happens if we turn on the heat without the engines running. Will it just do it through electricity? It's not thawing out in a hurry, is it? Yeah, I think we probably need the engines running. Okay, so where were we on the ground? Do we need to push back? No, we don't really need to. We can just swing straight round as soon as we get the engines up and running. So, Control 7. And fuel pumps on the far left, outer, so the rest of the fuel pumps, turn them all on. And then we go and start the engines. So the start master goes to on, we choose an engine, and we hit start. And we look down in the cockpit and we can see the numbers coming up for that engine. So when, I'm just reading my own notes here, when the engine reaches 10%, introduce fuel. So we've already gone through 10%. So we come down here and we introduce fuel. Before we go any further, actually, I haven't set the controller to the correct configuration. I need to go into Flight Simulator itself and look at this. The Ornithopter has completely reset a lot of the controls. It's really annoying. We want the 4 engine. Okay, so engine's coming up. The lights will go out when it's ready. Okay, so engine number 3, start. Just turn the weather radar on. It's not actually functional, but it looks the part. Okay, so let's go and just wait for each engine to come up. This is the boring bit of the startup procedure, really. Ice detected. You're not kidding. So, engine number 2, start. So wait for 10%. There it goes. Wait for the lights to go out. It's been ages since I've flown this. It seemed like the right sort of aeroplane for this kind of distance. Come on aeroplane, you can do it. There we go. Engine number 1, start. See if it's thawing out at all. Not yet, but then I haven't turned the heating on properly yet. And engine number 1. So let's go overhead now we have the engines up and running. Screen heating on. Vanes on. Let's warm the aeroplane up. Obviously we don't have engine 1 air yet because engine 1 hasn't quite come up yet. It's very good how everything is interconnected on this. So, are we starting to thaw out yet? Hopefully. Otherwise we may be sitting here for a while until we do thaw out. Okay, so the engines are up and running. So having done that, we can select Start Master to off and off here. Gen 1 to on and Gen 4 to on the electrical side. That might be why we haven't got the heating yet. So Gen 1 on, Gen 4 to on. Packs, Pack 1 and 2 to go to on. So engine air is all on already. Brake fans go to auto. I'm trying to remember where they are. Control 8. Hydraulics, engine 2 pump and 3 pump go to on. So we've got engine 2, engine 3. All heaters go to on, we've already done that. So done a little bit out of order, but shouldn't hurt it too much. Okay, so we're essentially ready for taxi at this point. So we can go and look down here, go and turn the taxi lights on, run the exit lights. Landing lights. Interesting. So, are the taxi lights way up here somewhere? It's a while since I've flown this. The strobe lights are. Engine anti-ice. Shall we go and turn all of those on? That will reduce thrust, but it's not going to be such a big problem. Are we thawing out? That's the question. Or are these conditions that this aeroplane just is not programmed to deal with? I can't see much sign of this going away. Screen heat is on. Do we get any control over the temperature that's actually being supplied to the screen? Because these are all on auto at the moment, aren't they? Interesting. Is it thawing? I think it might be, slowly. It was sat here for a very long time, getting very cold and frozen. What's the noise level like? That's okay. If we can't fix it, we may have to change the weather temporarily. It may be that we can't thaw it out in time. Of course, in the real world, you get a truck to come and pour de-icer all over the aeroplane, which we can cheat to kind of simulate. I'm not sure if this will allow us to do that. Yeah, it's just the failures. There's no thaw out function, is there? So what we might have to do, it's a bit, we've hit a bit of a hole in the logic of the simulator, I think. What we'll have to do is take it off live weather for a moment and let it thaw out. Leave it in the sunshine for a few minutes. Hopefully it will thaw. Famous last words, of course. Yeah, it's thawing out slowly. As I said, in the real world the aeroplane would be absolutely drenched by a truck with hundreds of gallons of de-icer. What we can do in here is go and remove the chocks. We can also get rid of the tablet knee. While we're waiting for this to thaw out, it's almost there actually. Let's go and have a look at the airfield we're taking off from. So we're going to have to backtrack. We want 142 degrees on the heading bug. So let's just get that in view over here. So we want 142 degrees. About there. We'll also calibrate the altimeter. We'll also go and set our initial climb out. We're going to go to 25,000 feet. We'll do it in one go. We're not going to mess about. We should be able to arm that. Yes, we can. Okay, so I'm just thinking in my head. Flaps to takeoff position. I think we're pretty good to go. So we can pre-select lateral navigation, but before we do that, let's make sure we're in nav mode. We need to be in RNAV mode to follow the GPS. Also, it would make sense to turn the course round to go the same direction we're initially going. So we'll get it. Oh, it's doing it anyway. Look, it's following the GPS course. So the course isn't working now, which is what we expect if we've got it in RNAV mode. RNAV is GPS in as far as the 146 is concerned. Right, let's go back to live weather. Off the parking brake. Turn the head tracking on. Center it up. Well, there we're going to hit the truck. Randomly generated ground vehicles, which always get in everybody's way. So we probably would have thawed out eventually, it just would have taken a very long time. So obviously our way of simulating de-icing the aeroplane was to turn the sun on. So there's an obelisk. of that. Interesting. Is that a navigation kit or? A little bit fast. So while we're going along here, we can go and put the strobes on, couldn't we? And the landing lights. Okay, here we go.
Speed alive, both sides. 80 knots, cross-checked. V1. Rotate. V2.
One of the problems with this aircraft is it's quite pitchy, and before you get everything switched on, it can be a bit of a handful. Okay, so on our way. Bit of an unconventional departure, but so we've got anti-ice on. Ice is being detected. We should come out of that pretty quickly. So I would imagine ice detected will switch off very soon. I'm going to turn the head tracking off for a moment. I'm going to open Navigraph. So following the GPS flight plan now. Okay, so the reason I've opened Navigraph is to go and have a look at this. Yeah, 6,000 feet is the transition altitude. We're already through 6,000, so we need to go and... Oh, it was 2992 anyway. That's handy. So we keep an eye on the airspeed. We're just below 250 knots. So we get to 10,000, so we can go vertical speed, drop the nose, and that will let us accelerate now. We'll go to, we're on sync mode, which will naturally limit the engines anyway. And the ice detector's gone off, so we can get full power back. We can leave the screen heat on actually. Yeah, we should be good to go with the rest of it. Making sure that was working. So landing lights can come off now as well. Oh, that was the taxi lights I was looking for. It's the other way on those switches. So this is the BAE 146. Okay, so let's have a look at the departure. So we are cruising now up to 25,000 feet and we'll fly in towards the approach. So you've got standard terminal arrival route begins at Tindo. Actually, should we do this in Navigraph because it will give us a nice diagram, won't it? So, in terms of restrictions, you can see below 10,000 feet, below 5,000, below 2,500. Sorry, above 10,000. I always say this backwards, I don't know why. Above 10,000, above 5,000, above 2,500. And then, obviously, you're picking up the ILS. So that must mean the airfield elevation is quite low. Does it give us it here? Yeah, 25 foot. So it is almost at sea level. Interestingly, this hasn't got the ILS marked on it, even though LittleNavMap has got it. So I wonder if it's available in the charts. So if I open the charts for the airport and look at the approaches, ILS 14, there it is, it just hasn't pinned it. There we go, that's better. How are we doing? 21,000 feet, we're almost up to our cruising altitude. We've got it armed, haven't we? Yeah, so it should level out at 25,000. Although we're still going a bit steep because I'm using vertical speed mode. So I'm going to come off that and drop the nose and let it get some airspeed back. So just keeping an eye on the vertical speed there. Put it back on vertical speed mode and it will hold the vertical speed that we've achieved, and you should see the speed slowly pick back up. I mean, we could push the engines on a bit further. You should now see the speed is slowly creeping back up. Yeah, perfect. So we're coming up towards 25,000, there's no hurry. So we probably want 75 miles to drop from 25,000 feet. Although this calculates, I'm using a 737 to calculate for this, because I haven't got a performance file for it in LittleNavMap. So it's putting top of descent, yeah. About how many miles before Tindo? Let's just measure that. 36 miles before Tindo. Okay. So that's worth knowing. Can we get that information on here? So this doesn't do countdown, does it? It does estimated time en route. But is that a countdown? Yes, that is 22.7. Let's just have a look at the map to compare and contrast that. So that's measuring from Batov. Okay, so this is counting them down. It's just not showing the decimals on a high number. So that would go down to 197 in a moment. There we go. Yeah, so when it gets to 36, we start descending. So that was just telling us we're within 1,000 feet of our target altitude. Should we have a fly around it with the drone camera? It's amazing the level of detail, isn't it? Anyway. So, just looking at the live stream comments, Chris is saying, John, I think I need to try a new flight sim plugin for my 4Flight. The one I'm using doesn't show hardly any of the FSLTL traffic. Which one do you use? I haven't got 4Flight. And I'm not even running FSLTL today. I'm just using the basic flight sim traffic. And multiplayer, whoever's in the air nearby. I just noticed I've got the, although this aircraft doesn't actually support it, yeah, I've got the tooltips on. I'm just going to pop in and switch that off. It annoys the heck out of me. It's in accessibility, isn't it? Instrument name tooltips. Off. Apply, go back, resume. So we are approaching maximum speed. So I'm going to come off the engines gently. Otherwise we'll be overspeeding before we know it. Watching to see if that needle is still creeping up or not. I think we've stopped it. It's usually about 84% or so. And it'd be BAE 146, I seem to remember. So we're looking for 36 miles to go into Tindo to begin our descent, which is going to be a little while yet. So I'm going to go and make coffee. So if you'll excuse me for a moment, just go and put the camera somewhere so you can actually see what's going on, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Is this a real life room? No, it isn't. I've just made it up. So this is the scenery pack that I've just installed. It's the Swedish Triple Pack from Umeå, Kiruna and Scandinavian Mountains. So the first leg we're doing today is from Scandinavian Mountains over to Umeå, and then the next waypoint will be Kiruna, which is up in the north of Sweden. So there's another leg to do, about the same distance actually. So it makes quite a good plan to do. So yeah, but I'll do that as a separate session entirely. Yes, I know about the speed bug, I'm just too lazy to do it. So yeah, you could go and set this. And yeah, we are increasing too much, aren't we? So let's come back off the power a little bit more. It's going to start overspeeding, isn't it? There we go, we're slowing down now. So what's being talked about in the live stream chat is this dot on the side of the attitude indicator shows where you are in relation to the speed marker. So you can see it moving there as I adjust it. You can see that sliding up and down. But this aeroplane's wonderfully manual. I imagine the Avro, when it comes out, is going to be very good. This is the more modern version of this. It has some glass cockpit additions. Should be quite good fun. Why do we have a light on? The wing tail anti-ice on. Did I not turn it off? No, I didn't. So another feature of this aeroplane that's quite unusual, I guess, is kind of a forerunner of an auto throttle. It has this thing called the thrust modulation system. And you can have one of the throttles be used as a reference for the others, and you can also use the resulting power output on a given engine to be a function for the others. And you can do things like synchronizing the engine power. You can have takeoff mode, maximum continuous thrust. I'll forget what TGT stands for. Is it turbine gas temperature? It's clever, but it has the power for performing sync, for example, to be able to adjust the throttles a few percent on each lever, or on each engine, I should say, away from the lever setting in order to synchronize them. So it's not an auto throttle, but it's a good way of making the airplane more efficient. Okay, so we're cruising along altitude hold mode at 25,000 feet. And I was going to go make a coffee, wasn't I? So I'll be back in a moment. Oh, hang on. There's a comment. Somebody know how to fix GPS primary lost in the A310? If you've got GPS primary lost, that would mean your INS system hasn't aligned, wouldn't it? I would have thought. Or the INS system isn't running. I haven't been in the A310 for a little while, so I'd need to have a look. Or IRS, sorry, Inertial Reference System, yes. So yeah, you'd have to have all three in nav. You also have to go into the MCDU and align it during the pre-flight checks to get the MCDU to connect with the gyros, essentially. Have I got an A339 tutorial on importing A339? Oh, the A330-900. Importing Simbrief flight plans and general MC. I think I have. If you go and search my channel, if you go to the front page of my channel, there's a search just above the videos. Oh, we're about to overspeed. Just caught it in time. Yeah, I'll just slow down to 70. Was it 79%? Right, I'm going to go and grab that coffee that I've been promising for the last 10 minutes. The headwind A330-900. Yeah, if you go... I'll show you now. There's no harm in doing this while we're flying. So if we go to youtube.com and go to my channel, and within my channel there's a magnifier. If we type in A330, flying the updated headwind. I think I might have had a bit of an adventure with Autoland not working, but I'm not sure if I looked into the Simbrief adverts. I don't want to get in trouble with adverts, you know, with a content strike, so I'm not going to even let that play. Anything more than a bit of a second or anything and you get hit with a copyright strike, and it's just not worth the hassle. Right, coffee time. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Oh, hello. Gee, the USB controllers just reset themselves. That was fun. Yeah, so the headwind is, I think it borrows a lot of code from the fly-by-wire. I'm just catching up on the live stream chat over there. Thoughts about the DA42? It's very good. There's been an update to it today. So several bugs that I hadn't even noticed have been fixed in it. One of them my dad had actually seen. He emailed me a couple of days ago and said, have you seen it weaving left and right? And I'd not actually seen it do it myself, but he'd encountered it. And that was one of the things they fixed apparently in the latest patch. The more powerful version of the DA42, is it the VI or IV? I can't remember off the top of my head. Is very, very good. How are we doing on progress? Do we start our descent yet? 86 miles to run to Tindo. So we can go and set our altitude. So if we go and remember, we have to be above. See, this is fascinating. Oh, it has got the 5,000 there. Above 10,000 at Tindu, above 5,000 and so on and so forth. It's interesting how LittleNavMap renders that versus the real chart, isn't it? So if we look on the Jeppesen chart, so we got Tindo above 10,000, and then above 5,000, 2,500, and so on. We could go and get the nav radios tuned in, couldn't we, ahead of time for the ILS. So we want 109.9, 130. So 109. Oh, that's interesting. It's already on that. We'll tune in nav2 as well. And we want the now we're using RNAV mode at the moment, which is GPS. But we could go and set the course, the heading at least, although that's interesting. So the course obviously doesn't affect this, so there's nothing to stop us setting the course as well to align the instruments nicely. So we want 130 degrees. Do the same on nav2. And we can set the heading bug to 130 as well. Obviously it won't make much sense until we switch over to nav mode while we're on approach. There we go, so this is ready to go for the runway when we get closer. So if we zoom out, where are we on the charts? Here we come. Hurrah! So let's pull up the standard terminal. What happened? Oh my word, we pulled the power back, look, and we're stalled. I'm just getting some speed back on. So we just dropped 1,000 feet while we're dealing with that. So autopilot back on. Okay. So while I was making the coffee, I didn't even notice the speed ebbing off. That's my bad. So we want to come back up to 25,000, which we're on our way anyway. So we'll go vertical speed mode to do that. We'll put LNAV back on, which will get us back onto the lateral track that we should be on. We're only just off of it. Isn't it funny, when you ever see an alarm, my eyes immediately go to airspeed, power, altitude. I'm always checking. No, look, we didn't arm the height, so now we've cruised straight through 25,000. So is this how cascading failures happen? So we're just pushing the nose back down. And we go vertical speed mode, and then it will pull itself back out when it gets to 25,000. Because I've armed it this time. Yeah, you can see it's winding it out now. See the vertical speed there is adjusting. Isn't that fascinating? We've got RNAV this side, we haven't got RNAV on that side. I wonder if that makes a difference to it. Does that mean we can use radio navigation while we're also using the GPS? I wasn't aware you could do that before. Now that is fascinating. Interesting, I never realised that. So you can have best of both worlds. So you could still be reading Nav2 on the HSI on the right hand side, as long as you're in split mode, obviously. Interesting. Learn something new every day. Okay, so how are we doing on distance? 55 miles to run to Tindo. So we want to come down to 10,000. For Tindo. So we've got 36 miles basically to get to 10,000 feet. We can cheat a little bit without having to do the maths in our head. In LittleNavMap, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, if you have the elevation plot on, there's a red projected line. So you can adjust your descent rate to match that. I mean, it has got VNav as well. We could use VNav. So we could target in arm 10,000 feet, go for VNav. If it's programmed, oh, does it actually work on this aeroplane? That's a really good question. Maybe it doesn't. Or maybe I just haven't configured everything to get it to work. Just above 25,000 feet at the moment. It's interesting that it didn't come down. Is that because we were busy fiddling? If we went to... Oh, we've already got it set to 10,000 now, haven't we? Yeah, it's because we armed 10,000, it took off altitude hold before it actually reached 25,000. We'll just sit at altitude hold now. So we're almost at top of descent. Got a mile to go, we may as well start. Okay, so take off altitude hold, start trimming downwards with elevator trim, because that, while you're on autopilot, it controls vertical speed. We'll come down 2,000 feet a minute, so if we go vertical speed mode it will maintain that for us. Then we can just use the throttles to command or to keep the speed under control. Bearing in mind we have to get below 250 knots to go below 10,000 feet. Let's see how that looks here. So it's not quite steep enough. So come off vertical speed, we'll go for 2,500 feet a minute. So we're just looking at the gauge there. Vertical speed mode back on, so it will maintain that for us. Keep an eye on the indicated airspeed. Make sure we're not accelerating, I think we're just accelerating. coming back to about 37, 38% on the engines. Obviously this aircraft has enormous spoilers, which will get us out of trouble in a heartbeat. Let's have a look at some of this scenery, shall we? Okay, how are we doing? Let's have a look at LittleNavMap. Yeah, so we're coming in on the right side of Tindo now. Ideally we want to be down a bit steeper than that even, because then we can have some room to play with. So I've pulled the throttles back to, oh, they already are idle, great. So we might have to use the spoilers a little bit. So let's come down at 3,000 feet a minute. So that's going to give us, once we get to 10,000, it will give us some lead room there to slow down. Is the 146 worth the money? Definitely. Well, it depends. If you like manual work in the aeroplane to do things, and you like aeroplanes where things make sense, where everything is interconnected and it's very obvious what affects what, it's brilliant, because it's not just randomly pressing sequences of buttons. Things have an effect on each other, which means you can learn it, and there is some logic to things happening. Which is where I think a lot of my fascination with the aeroplanes in the simulator is based around that. So we're just speeding up a bit. I'm going to come onto the spoilers now. So if you've never seen the spoilers on this thing, ooh, have we not got spoilers? Okay, what I'm going to do is pull the throttle controller, give it a few seconds, plug it back in. Now we have spoilers. Was it working before? Yeah, it's working. Look at the speed coming off. Let's have a quick look at the chart we're about to come into. So obviously this is not to scale. It says here in this box not to scale. Tindo's actually over here, it's not here. So it's got a distance measure there on the chart to see. So now we're looking for 5,000 feet. And we didn't target, oh, we didn't arm it again, look, so we've come straight down through 9,000, a little bit early. So we'll arm 5,000 this time, hey. And we obviously don't need to be descending this hard now, so we can come off the spoilers. We're at 250 knots now. Get it under control. So we're looking for 5,000 feet at, or above 5,000. at NU881. So we get a distance from that one. 14 miles out. I'm just coming down about 1,400 feet a minute. Just under 250 knots. So we're looking good. So we're below 10,000 feet now, so we really should have the landing lights on. Also, what is the transition altitude? Is it on the ILS chart? 5,000 feet. So we need to find out the barometric pressure at the destination airfield, which is in here somewhere. Weather 1016 in, so it's more accurate in inches, 30. So we're about to come through 6,000 feet. 5,000 feet, which we've armed, we need to set this to 3000. It's cold out there, doesn't it? We haven't seen an ice light, have we? Even though I guess we've come down in between the clouds. Just need to be wary of that. The outside air temperature is probably pretty awful. So here comes 5,000 feet, so let's get this done ahead of schedule. Does it do it both sides? Yes, it does. It's synchronized. Okay, there's a bit of a simplification in the cockpit they've done now then. Is there a standby altimeter? Yeah, there's this one here. That was synchronized as well, wasn't it? Interesting. So there we go, 5,000 feet. We're a little bit ahead of time. So the next target is to get down to 2,500 feet for 880. And it wants that to happen quite quickly. Okay. Oh, it's a maximum though. So you need to be above it, so we can just manage our descent down to 2,500 as we turn the corner. So we can target 2,500, but we won't do anything about it just yet. And then we can just gently make our way down, because the real target is here, look. And then we turn in for Esnu. At which point we join the ILS. So we should be able to switch over to nav mode on the guidance system once we're turning towards the heading bug. Okay, so let's get this show on the road with descending. So airspeed is good. We don't want to be much faster than about 200 knots on the approach. Hold vertical speed at just under 1,000 feet a minute. And has that switched over already? No, it's just the GPS track. It's doing this dogleg here. So you can see the HSI is reflecting that. So then after
below 205, select flaps 18.
Okay, there's the flaps. Ice has been detected as well, so we'll go and put the anti-ice measures in.
2,500.
This is going to be fun, isn't it? Low visibility and freezing cold. So we're just coming through here. So we'll wait for the turn and then we'll switch to the nav mode over, and hopefully we're probably a couple of 100 feet above where we really should be. So we're expecting a right turn. So there goes the flight director. So let's get ourselves ready. If I press head tracking, center it up. Okay, let's go for nav mode. What is going on with this? Very twitchy today for some reason. So we're going a bit fast. So let's slow the airplane down. I could see in front of us. I'm just going by the HSI at the moment. Can see out the sides. Let's put the head tracking on. Yeah, we can just about see the ground out there. The spoilers out a little bit just to slow us down. We're on track on the nav, so you can see the glide slope.
Below 170, select flaps 30.
Done. We're crabbing a little bit for crosswind. A little bit high. I'm hoping to see a runway very soon. Full flaps. Off to the right. Come on, runway, where are you? That's the wrong way.
Light slope's alive, 1 dot to go.
Light slope. $50, $40, $30, $20, $10.
Ground idle. Yellow and green spoilers. Brake pressure seen. 80 knots. 60 knots.
That was no fun. Okay, we need to turn around. Or is that taxiway? I think we can probably go up there, can't we? I've not seen this airport at all. This is brand new to me. In fact, I don't think we really should go any further than this. Let's go and park here, and then we'll use the drone camera to go and have a nose around. Well, unless we can get up there. I'm just gonna... Let's stop here for the moment, put the parking brake on, and straighten the camera up, accelerate the camera. Okay, so let's go and have a look around this airfield. Is there a route through from here? No, there isn't. So we would need to backtrack to the previous exit to go to the terminal. Okay, let's do that. Very cool, isn't it? I think it was good to do this with the live weather to see just how hazardous some of these approaches are in these winter conditions in Sweden. So you really do need to be on top of your ILS game, really. Looks amazing, doesn't it? It's almost photographic. Very good. Oh, so there was a bit of a glitch there with some moire patterns appearing. Let's bring this into number 4. So I'll leave the engines. Actually, we've got the APU. The APU stays on this airplane, doesn't it? So let's just turn the engine anti-ice off. And APU is running, so we can shut the engines down. It won't hurt anything. He says famous last words.
Cabin crew, doors to manual and cross check.
Okay, so while that's happening, let's go and be nosy. So here's our aeroplane. I'm just slowing this drone camera down a bit. There we go. So let's have a look at this on the map to see where we are, more importantly. So if we close the... So this is Umeå. On the coast, on the eastern coast of Sweden. So let's go and have a look around and see how well they've modelled the airfield. Looks pretty spectacular actually, doesn't it? So can we come into this building? It would appear we can. It has internals. Anybody want a coffee? So if we come back out of here, we've then got the control tower, and oh my word, on the land side it's very cool. So control tower has been modelled. It has snow inside it. This is a glitch that I had seen reported, that some of these elements of this scenery had snow inside them, and they are working to fix that. So out in the parking lot you can see various taxis lined up, ready to go. Various flags, car parks. Let's go and have a look around some of the other areas. So bicycles, I imagine bicycle hire then. I'm guessing you can't go in any of these buildings, they're just empty shells. Some helicopters down at the far end. Search and rescue. The air ambulance. They've really gone to town with this, haven't they? There's a lot of stuff here. There's obviously some sort of digger factory over here as well. Now I'm trying to think of a Swedish digger make. Komatsu, is that Swedish? I'm not sure. No, they wouldn't be, would they? I wonder if it's got the logo on any of the diggers. That looks like a JCB. Obviously all diggers probably look the same across the world, with various different makes. So there's the post logistics. So someone's asking in the live stream chat, Tobii or Track IR? I'm using Tobii Eye Tracker. And full disclosure, Tobii gave me the Tobii Eye Tracker. I didn't actually go and buy it. But it is very, very good. It does drift, it's not perfect. But then Track IR has its issues as well, because you have to wear it on your head. Tobii, you don't have to wear anything. You just sit in front of the device and it figures out where you're looking. You do have to center it, which you see me do now and again. So yeah, this is Umeå Airport. It's very good, isn't it? I'm always taken up with how well they do the textures on the ground. This looks remarkably well done, doesn't it? Really? So I'm presuming... Is this... there's another building further on. Look, we looked around this one. There's another one. Let's go and have a look at it. Welcome in. Okay, so this is the arrivals, because they're the baggage carousels. Okay. It's very cool though, isn't it? I love all the little textures and yeah, the flooded areas and snow drifts, and it's very, very well done. You can see there's a pile of snow over here, look, where it's been pushed off of the taxiways. Very, very cool. So that's Umeå. Anyway, I'm going to end tonight's live stream there because I'm going to go and watch TV and have a relax. But hopefully you enjoyed that. So we looked at 2 of the airfields in the triple pack from Orbx, and obviously we saw a kind of a hair-raising approach in the mist there in the BE 146. We came in quite low on the ILS towards the end, but to be honest, once I had visuals with the runway, it wasn't really that difficult at all. It was just hanging it out until we saw the runway, and trying to follow the instruments was a little bit, it focused the mind, let's put it that way. Okay, so there's our aeroplane, still in one piece, able to be used again, which is always good. Right, I will see you all again soon. Thank you ever so much for taking part in the live stream chat. It really does make it a bit more fun. I actually much prefer doing live streams to just recording dry videos these days. I think it's keeps me entertained along the way with your conversation and answering questions, and I learn from you guys as well. So yeah, it's all good. See you again soon. Take care.